It feels like Monday. I don't know why. I don't know if anyone agrees with me, but it feels like Monday. It's not. It's Wednesday. And so today is my Heart Home Harmony Live series, which I do live and then record and then send to YouTube. So I hope you guys start joining on YouTube too. I'm Noelle Gatz. Welcome. This is Heart Home Harmony Live, where I chat with a lot of amazing people. And today, it's something a little different. If you know me at all, you may know I am a huge fan of true crime stories. I'm not an amateur sleuth, I'm not good at that. I'm just so interested in the psychology of it all and the amazing work of the people who really solve the crimes and do it with a lot of heart. And today, Detective Tonya Rider is joining me to talk a little bit about that, of course, because that's her life, that's her story. But we also want to talk about some things maybe she doesn't get to talk about that much. I think she's a home improvement fan. We'll find out. She's going to join us in a minute. But I want to just kind of hear about other things, what home means to her as well. She's here. Oh my gosh, Michael Rogers, you love me? I love you. I don't know you, but I love everyone until they give me a reason not to. Hi. I love y'all. Thanks for joining us. And let's see here. Who's trying to join? It is. I can't wait. Please join me. Let's see if it works. Yay! I literally get this excited every time, but oh my gosh, I'm so excited you're here.
I am excited too.
Look at
I'm like
you!
a fan. I'm fangirling out right now.
I'm fangirling. we can't both be fangirling. That's so. Yes, I guess we can. You know what? That's great. That's mutually exclusive. I mean, mutually beneficial.
Yes.
Fanning.
Yeah.
You are incredible. So, oh my God, look at is this your house?
It is. It's important to be cozy. I could use some tips from you, by the way.
I don't know.
But
it looks pretty fantastic. I do have a very bright ring light, which I've got to figure out because it's so bright right now that I'm like, I can hardly see her. Because
and
that's what happens with the ring light.
It's a little darker over here too, but I didn't
love that. I love a moody space. That's my dining room too, is like that. Is this your dining room?
It's my living room.
Gosh, okay. What's behind you? Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Did you do this yourself?
So I had some help from a girlfriend, and I cannot have done it without her help. Yeah. I mean, she helped me with the colors and, just being intentional about what I wanted in the space. And so we did this probably 5 years or so, and it's kind of timeless. So I haven't had to.
It is.
Yeah. Do it.
I was going to say, this is so good because you can just always have it. I mean, that's really the key of good design. And I'm sure your friend was able to also push you a little out of your comfort zone and get you to maybe bite the bullet on something you would have thought yourself out of.
For sure. Like color even. I don't think I experimented with dark color before this. And now it's like, I would never, there's certain rooms of the house, obviously, that are going to be lighter and I enjoy that. But I don't know, there's something about the coziness of the dark that just resonates with me.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And we have to talk about that because your history is incredible. And we have to talk a little bit about your resume because it's crazy. I don't, again, I'm so impressed by people, who have this kind of resume. First of all, you've dedicated so much of your life to really difficult content. Dealing with the most traumatic things that can happen to people.
Yeah.
And bringing light into that situation. How do you do that?
I often tell people that for me, one of the things that helped me during my career in law enforcement, which kind of is still going on, but is that I don't think that during the time that I was actively working as a detective that I had the mindset of thinking of the details in the horrifying situations. I was more concentrating on, okay, this is what we need to do. This is what we need, who the person we need to talk to. This needs to happen. And I don't think until after I wasn't doing that on a day-to-day basis that it really caught up to me. And I was like, yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah, but you were able to just take things sequentially. So go step by step. This is what we have to accomplish in order to get to the next goal, rather than focusing on the horror of it, which is just, I'm so thankful for you. And I'm so thankful for people like you because we need you. And when you can find somebody like you who does it, also has the heart, but is able to not fall apart, that is a gift. And I mean, I watch a lot of these true crime shows, right? And I listen to a lot of interviews with detectives and things. And there's something special about you. There just
Thank
is.
you.
It's a strength, but it's also like the heart and the brain. I can't with you. You're amazing. So people don't know you're retired technically, right?
Yes, retired technically.
But still working.
I still have jobs. I don't know how that works. How do you retire and still have jobs? But I've been lucky enough to be on Cold Justice, which is kind of how I started being on Instagram, and through Instagram is how I like started following you and then following your show. And then it's like, it's all kind of come full circle. But I've been on Cold Justice. This will be, since 2017.
Really? Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been that long.
That's
and
6 years.
Yeah.
Right?
It's,
oh my gosh.
It's been great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard work, don't get me wrong, but
you're essentially, right? I mean, you're would you say private investigator essentially, but you're using your ties and connections?
So what we do is we go to wherever the case is, and we work with local law enforcement, and we just bring like another set of eyes to a case that they've been working. And so we try to help them organize it, maybe do some interviews if they haven't had the opportunity to do. And a lot of times our departments that we go to are smaller, so their resources are limited. So it's nice to be able to like go in, jump in for 10 days or so and just like concentrate on the case and hopefully, get them some resolution.
Absolutely. I mean, I cannot imagine how fortunate they are to have you all, because I mean, there's a team of many amazing people, but all of you bring so much experience, and what you're doing is so phenomenal. So you're doing that, which is incredible. And I know how much time that takes, even on the limited, even when you have a few cases a year or whatever.
Right.
It's a ton of time. I can imagine. I mean, I don't know what it takes to actually do what you do with it, but I imagine, I mean, a renovation, not as important maybe.
No, but you know how TV is.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that like when you're working,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter what time the clock says. If you have to finish something, you have to finish it. So it's a lot like that. They are long days,
Right.
I guess, which is even more the reason why when I come home and like put my bags down, I just really need to be in a comfortable and safe feeling space.
And are you still in Toledo?
Yes.
So you're gonna you live there, you love it there. This is where your home is.
Two of those things. I live here. This is where my home is. I don't think that I'll stay here. I would love to retire. I said that word again, but I'd love to move to a place where the climate is more temperate and less snowy and cold. Although, I'm a born Midwesterner. I should be used to it by now, but I'm just not.
But it's not for everyone. Just because you're born into it and it's what you have to deal with on the daily doesn't mean you want it.
Exactly. But that's a long-term goal that I think that I'd like to do, just to have that experience.
Well, I think people don't understand. I mean, people probably do, but when you retire as an officer, right, you can retire young.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're done. I mean, there's work to do. There's things you want to do, but you've absolutely earned it. So if you can find a great place to come,
and then I'll have
welcome to New Jersey.
And you can help me with getting it all split up and everything.
Love it. I love your style. It's incredible. Your friend did a very good job, so I wouldn't want to step on her toes. But I will say that it is so, I love that you brought that up about how doing hard work and being so engaged in your work, no matter what it is, but especially when it's something like you're doing.
Yeah.
I think it really makes you appreciate the value of home. You know what I mean? And like you said, you have this space, which is dark and moody and makes you feel like you're being hugged, right? Like you just feel cozy, safe, and comfortable.
Yeah.
You have other spaces you said that kind of bring a different vibe for you.
So like, oddly enough, I think I flip-flopped this. The bedroom is a lot brighter because I think that white and purity just, I don't know, it's comforting.
And it gets you up in the morning.
Yes, it does. It really does. So, I've been trying with different things, and some things work and some things don't, but overall, I think my style is pretty minimalistic.
Yeah.
And so I try to steer away from. When you get in the store, sometimes it's very hard because it's like, oh my God, this would look great. But would it really look great?
Yeah, I love that, but does that mean it goes in my space, which is a big part of editing? And I think it's smart that you go that minimalist route, because that way you're not stuck with something that you don't want forever.
Exactly. So I've been pretty fortunate with my self editing, but every now and again you find something that you can't live without. So
and you can make it work. It can be a jumping off point and an inspiration to maybe refresh something. If you
for
do
sure.
Are you into art at all, or not really?
So it's funny you asked me that, because this year my promise to myself was that I was going to be more creative. And so I got the idea, okay, I'm going to just start small. I'm going to do some paint by number.
Oh yeah.
That's easy. You know, I totally can do that. It's very relaxing. It's not as easy as it looks.
No.
But I feel like this might be my jam. I mean, I might be able to
Detective Tonya Rider becomes an artist. I love that. You'll have so much emotion and experience to pull from too.
Yeah.
What kind of work? I'm sorry, are you taking classes or anything? Or are you gonna?
So another thing that I've been doing is, a friend of mine has her own business. She's into crafts, and I'm taking some classes with her periodically. I've been able to determine the things that work for me and that I'm decent at, and the things that I'm not, which is embroidery. But
that is really hard.
You just have to try a bunch of things until you find what sticks.
Yeah. Were you creative as a kid? Like, do you feel like you did it and then you lost it? Or is it just something you really never tapped into until recently?
I think as far as creating, I wasn't as creative, but I was, how do I want to say this? I've always been impacted by music. Like,
me too.
Like huge, big time plays and any type of songs, and listening to music. Like, I can turn on music to, I can find a song right now to depict whatever mood I'm feeling at the time. Oh my God. It's
have go-tos though. Wait, do you have go-tos, like go-to genres? Like, what's your, like, for me, when I'm home, it's almost always jazz, like a variation of jazz. I like French jazz. I like Ella Fitzgerald type jazz. I like, it has to be authentic, like not the cheesy stuff, like the new stuff.
Same for me, because we have Sonos, and so I can play it throughout the house. And one of my favorite things, which is kind of something that we had text back and forth about, but like my perfect, like the most perfect day would be in the kitchen, chopping some stuff up with the jazz going. Seriously.
We're best friends.
We are. I love
it. With music playing, and you've got the whole vibe.
Yes.
I mean, this is so important. This is home. This is why they say the kitchen is the heart of home. It is true. I mean, hello, people, like, I don't know. I just feel like ambiance is so important. This is actually why in my design business, it's holistic design, which means like designing for all the senses. Like, it's so important. And
it's
we're
hugely
so fortunate.
important.
Yeah.
This is the first time that I've lived in a place where I've utilized the kitchen as much. And now, because of HGTV and the Food Network, not only am I creative now, but I'm also a novice chef. And
I don't have time right now. It's frustrating because I love to be a novice chef, and I've made some big mistakes.
But then you have to have the tools and I have to have a good knife.
How's
and
all of that. Is your kitchen nice?
It's nice. It's very open. But I would, once you start to get yourself involved in these kind of things, you're like, well, I would love a different stove. Or I would,
Okay, wait, I need to tell you. Okay, do me a favor. Can you tip your thing down a little? I just realized your chin's a little cut off on the.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh my God, your beautiful face, your beautiful clothes. Okay, there we go. I just realized, I was like, I don't want her to be on my YouTube channel when I have to put them side by side. Like,
well, she doesn't have a chin.
She has a body. Okay. The stove thing, oh my gosh. Okay, I bought an industrial, like, German stove when I bought my kitchen because I wanted something that was great and would last forever.
Yes.
And it's been like nothing but trouble now. I'm so frustrated, and the parts are hard to get. It wasn't even that expensive. It was like anyway, I should have known better and like sprung for the higher end.
Right.
I tried to buy this, like,
it's so hard to know, because how would you know it without buying it and actually trying it out? So,
and I was a first-time homeowner, and I did not have jobs at the time, so I didn't know, what I was doing. Actually, so much of what I did, I learned on my feet.
Yeah.
How did you get into your job? Like, how did you get into it?
So the story's boring, but
it's okay. I don't think it's boring.
Say that, I took what kids are now calling a gap year. I took a few gap years, and I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I started working for a local utility company, and I thought, I can't do this.
This is not good.
Yeah. And so I saw a recruitment poster on the side of a bus for the police department, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. So I, just went through
incredible
all the stages and
life experience, learned life experience, getting out there in the world and discovering what you wanted. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it was the biggest blessing of my life, because I can't even imagine what profession I would hold at this point, because it just seems like it suited me, and I'm glad that I've had that opportunity.
It really feels like it's all meant to be, I mean, coming full circle, like it's probably so different for you being on television than it is for me. I mean, I was a theater person, so I'm like very just outgoing and animated, and you have that personality, but you also have this like deep expertise you have to have. I mean, I have expertise, but it's not like yours.
It's different.
It's different. But it must be neat, because I'm sure a lot of what drew you to the police work, what you seem to be excellent at least from my perspective, is knowing people, understanding people, connecting to people. And you get to do that in some other ways when you're on TV. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, you're not, like you said, you're not the most social media active, which I love about you, because it's authentic. Ooh, hey, somebody sent us fireworks.
Woohoo!
I don't even know how that happened, but I'm here for it.
But I'm glad they did.
I kind of wish it happened when I was saying something more profound, but next time, guys, time that better. But no, it's so great to see you being able to blossom this way, kind of, right? I mean, and I actually am curious about something when it comes back to home and how important home is, and like how you've made such a beautiful home. I'm really curious, have you noticed over the years, you've impacted a lot of families, and you've had to experience and visit a lot of families who are in really dire circumstances, right?
Yes.
Who maybe are in poverty, right? And you can probably see firsthand like how much that impacts their lives, like the ability or not the ability to have this like comfortable home, right? Has that sort of, do you think, affected or played into your story with your home, and just like how much you realize it's important and how much it can impact all areas of your life? I don't want to sound like snooty at all, because I think it's everyone deserves a beautiful home.
I think the main thing for me is it has kind of solidified the fact that your home is your sanctuary. And when I have someone here, they're special to me. I don't have a bunch of people running in and out of the house or staying over or anything. And so when people are close to me and I have them in my home, they're wanted here. And I realize that not everyone has that same level of being able to restrict that, or limit a company, or just have any agency over what goes on in their home. And I don't take that for granted at all. So
I love that. That's
the real things that I've kind of taken away from that. And also being able to feel safe in your space.
That's it.
That's huge.
And you can't imagine that. That's why I think it's so important. And all these wonderful places that do that are havens for people who maybe have been abused or people who are homeless. It's like, I want to get more involved in that kind of work, just because I feel like the impact is so important and everyone deserves that. You know what I'm saying? You'd be great too. Maybe we should do a show together.
Right? There we go.
Wait a second. I'm writing it down. I'm gonna call you up. You think I'm kidding? You're gonna have a list of like show name ideas and like ways we can make our communities better.
I love it.
And combine forces. Because honestly, I think we have, I'm just looking into it, because right now, I mean, to be honest, I don't make very much money. Okay. But like, if I did, I would like to be able to find a way to make that work, to be able to donate my time and still be able to function and like,
it's funny to mention that, because one of my other jobs that I've had for quite a while now is teaching at a university.
Yes. And Bowling Green.
Yes. And the reason I bring that up is because not that the young women that I've met are in that same situation, but I've been so lucky to be able to mentor some of my students. You know, there's a few special ones, and that I've watched them go on and be successful in their careers and in their additional education. And many of them still contact me. In fact, I was talking with one on the weekend, and she was having a little problem at work, and I was just like, you know, nope, you got this, you got this.
She needed you.
But I do not take for granted the ability to have an impression on other young women, and that's just that's so important to me.
I love that so much. I can tell that's where you shine. I mean, you see your impact and you feel it, and gosh, it's really incredible to talk to someone who is really making the world a better place. And a lot of people do. I do think that. But yeah, and who does it and who appreciates it and wants more of it. I think that's incredible, and those people are so lucky to have you as a mentor.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Now all I'm thinking about is our show. Yeah, how are we going to change the world and maybe get paid for it a little so we can do it? Because isn't that the truth? It is tricky when you are a giver or you're just interested. You know, here's what's interesting. So in your line of work, you are obviously doing both to a degree, taking on so much stress, but getting paid and making the world a better place. I do think as designers or as a creative, if you get into the creative field, you can absolutely make the world a better place while you're getting paid. That's all fine. But to really do it, it's almost like you need funding or something because you want to give it to the people who can't afford it.
You want to hear something funny? I think this was this is when I started being obsessed with you. I want to say it was on the first season with Joe the plumber. Maybe it was the first season, but you'll remember this house because you laid around the fireplace, you laid some blue tile. And I want to say it was a couple that was buying, they had a baby or something, but this blue tile, on its face, you wouldn't think, it's is that going to work? And then when you were done, it was amazing. And I'm like, oh, I like her. I like her. That and the earrings, I like her.
Thank you. Mine are kind of subdued today, but I did wear them. How about you? But let me see.
Mine are just kind of hanging out too, but I had to put on something. I knew I was going to be with the
you were so stylish. No, this is how I knew you were creative, honestly, just by looking at you. Because in your show, how you dress beautifully, and your hair,
thank you,
and your earrings, I don't know.
Look who's talking.
I need so much. I need help, Tonya.
No,
I want to be cool. No, I want to be cool. I think in my head I'm edgy, but I'm not.
You are.
No,
you are edgy. You are.
Look at me. I'm in a turtleneck, and
well, it's kind of it's hard to know what to wear in these kind of things, and it's do you want to be what image do you want to convey? Yeah, I was all in my head too.
1,000%. It's so funny because the first, I think I got better the second season a little bit, but it is interesting. I was well, I know I like big earrings. I'm just going to do that as much as I can. But then all the work days in between, I couldn't do it because it would have been crazy. I would have had a new pair of earrings for every work day. I kind of wish I'd done the thing where, I guess you guys kind of do this on your show, where you have almost not a uniform, but you have a standard, the blazer, the shirt. I kind of wish I had just had the same dang t-shirt for all the work days.
I just get it.
Did you?
Get it. I do get it. But let me just tell you this, and you're not paying me to say this, and I wouldn't say it just to blow smoke, but
I swear.
So the t-shirt that I got from you, from your business, is the softest t-shirt I've ever worn.
I know.
It's insane.
I can't remember. I think it's Bella and Canvas, the actual brand that makes it. I can't remember, but I am obsessed with it too.
It's very, very well done. So
thank you so much.
It's
I just picked it because I loved it, and then I was this is fun.
Yeah, it's hard to find a good t-shirt.
It is.
Yeah.
And I do wear them all the time. It's really funny. I'm constantly, it looks like I'm trying to just sell my wares all over
I've been selling your wares around Toledo, so
that's what you're supposed to do, right? Oh my gosh, this is so much fun to talk to you. You're so fun. And this is how I knew. So again, I knew by your style. She's fun and creative too. She's not just a beast and amazing as a boss.
You.
But you have style, you have creativity, and yeah, I could use your help. One day we have to meet in person. If you ever come out to New York, because I know you do these don't you do these true crime? Do you sometimes do those? What do they call them? They're
Crime Con? Is that
Yeah.
yes? We have. I haven't done one in a couple of years, but they are crazy because you see a lot of the fans
The
like are
fans are crazy,
so
right?
amazing. They are so amazing, and it just makes you feel like what you're doing is really impacting people.
It
And
is.
when I seldom post on social media, you can see people like that I don't even know, and they're like, "Oh my God, we love the
Well,
show.
you
We
know
love
what
the
you need to do?
show."
You need to get the official status, which is a nightmare. I
Is
had
it?
to pay for it. I'm going to be honest because I could not prove myself a million times. I'm like, this is who I am. I'm like,
Yeah,
and it does help because then people know for sure it's you, which I had to
right.
figure out. I did figure it out, but and it does make an impact. And I actually want to talk about that for a second because I think in the true crime genre, which is real life, real things that have happened, it is a fine line to walk to find the shows and the people like yourself who do it with heart. Do you know what I'm saying? And aren't exploiting the people involved. And I know that a lot of that has to do with the production company too, which is awesome. That your production company seems to have a very value the people.
They do.
It's hard to do because you are dealing with a lot of people who are in really desperate situations, who have obviously been through a lot of trauma, and you're trying to share the stories and help, but also not exploit them, right?
I think that for me, it's rather easy because I started in the sexual assault realm. I investigated that before homicide. And so that was just a no-brainer. Like I'm never going to put myself in a position where I'm re-traumatizing someone that's already been through something. And so that's kind of just carried me through. And
it shows.
Before Code Justice, there was a couple of different offers, but I just feel that what's for you is for you, and it's gonna you'll know the right fit. And so Code Justice was the right fit, and they align. We align with each other, and so I'm just grateful to be part of that.
And they appreciated and recognized in you what is so important. I think Kelly too has that. I mean, she's
amazing.
Boss. But she also
she's
has that
amazing.
Heart. And you together, but she and you and the other gentleman too who I've seen on the show. I mean, they all have what seems to me to be great heart for the job, but yours really shines. I mean, and what a gift that, like you said, you found that right project, which was not exploitative but helpful.
Yes.
And still, I get it. It's entertaining, but it's entertaining for a reason. It's not like, oh, fun, entertaining. You're like, oh, I want to watch. You don't do it in a way that, some of these reality shows do where it's like exploitative. So I just appreciate that so much about you and the show. I think it's a wonderful show because I'm a crime enthusiast, but only when it's like that. Only when it's like about the story, about the people, about the heart, and about the ways we can actually make things better. Which is what you all are doing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I love it.
And wait, when you start making art, you need to share it with me.
I'm gonna need some tips, believe me, because
it's so funny because
art is different. That the thing that's holding me back most is me, because it's a canvas. Like, you're not gonna hurt it, you're not gonna destroy it, but that type A part of me that makes me good at my job is saying, but do not get past that little line. Don't do that.
I know, but it is true with art, and I'm not an artist. I will say I love art, and I actually in almost every home in the first season and then some in the second season, I made art for it, but it wasn't like art. I mean, but I did learn this, and I do think it's gotten easier in the way too that as I'm creating for design, it's the same thing. You are allowed to go through the process. Like, you have to go through the process. If you don't ever start and you don't ever make mistakes, you can't fix them. And with at least most mediums in art too, you can cover, you can layer. And I think the best artists or the people who are the most true to themselves kind of figure that out, right? Like, we just keep going. Just keep going. And you may wind up with something, like you said, that you never expected would be so great.
Exactly.
I can't believe you. Creative, beautiful, smart. Your legacy is incredible.
Thank you.
May we all strive to have an amazing legacy like that. I mean, we can't all do the things you did, and the sacrifices that you made. Really, I think it's so neat to see you now in your retirement.
Yeah, I'm redefining what that means, apparently.
1000%. But in your retirement from that level of intensity, probably, which, like you said, to recognize about yourself that you needed that break and you needed that separation, and to like recognize, and you didn't realize till after. Wow.
Right.
I went through
Right.
it. And now you're healing, and not that you needed to heal, but you know what I mean? Like,
no, it's an adjustment. A friend of mine a long time ago, he was had more seniority on the department than I did and retired well before I did. But he said something and it didn't really make sense. It made sense, but it didn't really hit home until I got to that point. But he said there needs to be a class to kind of walk you through how you transition from, being on all the time, being called upon, carrying a weapon all the time, being on high alert, to being like, okay, I'm at home. Like, what do I
normal
do?
person.
Yeah.
I believe
so he was right about that.
Well, hey, maybe that could be another part of your journey.
Put that down on our,
because you are a mentor.
Put that on our list so we can also discuss
I'm going
that
to follow
as well.
up with this. You'll see a lot of emails from me with a lot of ideas. and the problem with me too, Tonya, is that I'll send them and then I'll think of something else like 5 minutes later and send another one.
But you know what is so funny? That's how our minds work. It's like, oh, I got something. Some of us just came to mind.
Special people like us.
Yeah,
that's how our minds work. Well, I'm going to ask my questions because we're almost out of time.
Okay.
But we'll do this again for sure in some form or fashion, and maybe we'll have a TV show, guys.
I can't believe I'm your first non-traditional guest. I feel.
I'm trying to think back. I can't think of anyone else. I mean, the biggest departure I ever made before this is my friend John, but he like has rental properties that he kind of designs, but he's more of a social media manager and like an actor. Okay. That's the closest. You were my first, and I was so excited. But there is so much. It's interesting to hear somebody who was in a totally different field.
Yes.
Talk about the value of creativity and home and comfort.
Oh, for sure.
And the fact that we're both on like TV or TV-ish. It's an interesting world, right? And talking about edits, I could do a whole whole thing about edits, because you probably get, I don't know if you get this, but sometimes I'll get people write in and be like, you should have done this or that or this. And I'm like, I totally appreciate your point of view, but you're not seeing so much of what happens.
And I don't think that people often understand how much, like, for those snippets that they see and have an opinion about, there's been like 8 hours of work that went into that. And things that got not the final
cut
decision.
That you're like, maybe that's important to talk about, but we have to cut it. We just can't put it all in there.
Yeah. I get that.
But it's good. We understand each other, so that's good. Yes. And I think it's actually a great lesson for humanity. And then I'm going to ask you my questions, I swear. We're going to go over a little. That's okay. It's a great lesson for humanity in this day and age where social media, and you know how dangerous that can be, and all these things are out there, which are also wonderful things. Always know people, you're not getting the whole story.
Exactly.
It's not. Like, be open-minded and recognize, maybe I need to like do a little more digging, or I need to assume I don't know everything. That's all.
Exactly. Be open to possibly being wrong.
Exactly. I'm doing a dance because I just love when you say smart things like that. That I relate to. It's exactly the possibility of being wrong. To me, that is literally, I learned that lesson a little late in life. I was probably in my 20s when I was like, oh, I'm not right about everything.
And it's humbling, but I think the more you open yourself to that, I don't know, it makes me feel not vulnerable, but it makes me feel stronger to know that I'm open. I don't know, it's just hard to describe in a way, but
it's freeing, right? Because you don't know.
Yes.
And that you're open to learning.
Yes, exactly.
I completely agree. So this is a good segue, okay, to my little questions.
Okay.
What is warming your heart these days? This is the Heart Home Harmony series after all.
What's warming my heart, and I kind of got to it before we got to the question, is just being able to have an impact on young women. And I look at young women now, when I say young, I mean college age, 20s, 30s, like, they're not taking no for an answer, and they're not giving up, and they're tenacious. And just to be a part of seeing that growth, that makes me feel so good. It's a feeling that it's hard to describe, but to know that, like, you can have an effect on someone and not even know it, and then years later they contact you, or they reach out to you and say, when you did this, it made me
and
feel
you're like, what?
Yeah,
and that's incredible. And as somebody who's also been in a very male-dominated industry, I mean, you've seen it firsthand. You've probably seen so much improvement.
I'm giving a talk in April in Grand Rapids, and that's part of the speeches. It's on mentorship, but it's on the fact that, and I can't speak for everyone's experience, but I didn't have a lot of female mentors when I was starting on the police department. So you just had to, figure it out. There might have been a handful, but they, everybody was going through the same thing,
the whole
and
culture is different.
Exactly. Exactly.
And you helped change that for the better, and I'm sure people now recognize that who worked with you, and that's a wonderful thing. And these young women, it's really cool. I agree. It's really cool to see women step into their power, as you would say, right? Is that what the kids say?
Yes.
I'm probably saying it wrong, but anyway.
Well, I know exactly what you mean.
So let's talk about home, and what does home mean to you these days?
Oh gosh, every time I'm driving home from work, or even if I'm driving home from someplace that was a fun experience, it's like a magnet draws me here because I love this space. It's kind of home can be a couple of things, though. I don't mean to get off the subject, but to me, home is a space, but it's also people. Being with the right people, it doesn't matter where you're at, that kind of feels like home. 100%. And so that, plus the fact of my physical surroundings being comfortable and being like the sanctuary that it is.
Sanctuary.
It really, really, watching HGTV and shows like yours, it's like, oh, I could do that to make an improvement,
And it is inspiring. I mean, that's how I got started too.
Yeah.
I love that. And it is, I think the sanctuary space is really key. I don't think there is anyone who has a home who shouldn't have that feeling. And it would be,
I agree.
Great if we could really give that to everyone. That would be my dream.
Yeah.
And harmony, you get it because you like music.
Yes.
I just think that word is so powerful, right? It's descriptive, and for people like us to really get it, like what is what makes you feel that sense of harmony?
I think when it's like a little recipe for me. Oh, I made another.
You did. You're so smart and creative.
But it's like a little recipe because if I have my music, I have my environment, and I have the mentality of everything's working out as it should. This is where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing right now. I mean, that feeling is indescribable, but it all works together. And it's just like, that's where the sweet spot lives. That's what weekends are made for you to be able to try to capture a little bit of that. And so that's what harmony means to me. And those things individually can present harmony, but together, it's the best.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. And it's different for everyone, but I think they all need to recognize that it's a combination of the senses. Right?
Yes.
And how they all work together beautifully. I love hearing you describe that. That's awesome. Do you have a show and tell for us?
I do.
I love this part.
The precursor is I went to private school through my whole entire life, even college. And we wore uniforms in high school. And so the only thing that you could make your own or show your own identity was like you could wear sweaters or different knee socks and stuff like that. And so I took a picture the other day and I sent it to my dad, and it was of his sweater, which had a sailboat on it, and it's tattered. It's just a blue cardigan with a sailboat. But when I sent him a picture, I liberated him of this sweater over 20 years ago. But the other day I sent him a picture and I said, does this look familiar to you? And he said, is that my favorite sweater? And I'm like, yeah, it is. But it has moved with me from house to house to house, at least 4 or 5 moves.
What does it mean
and
to you? Is it like a way of having your dad near you, but also just...
Yeah, yes. My dad has great style. He's everything I'm not. Well, he's a man and I'm not.
But
my dad is very artistic and capable. He has a great sense of dress. And so wearing this reminds me of being in high school, and that was a great period of time in my life. And also it belonging to him. You know how when you wear something of someone else's, it just makes you feel close to them. So it has double meaning.
I love that. And that was your style. It's like how you express yourself. I love it. Oh my gosh, you've been such a joy.
This has been great.
Expect emails from me.
I would have nothing less.
With crazy ideas.
Hey, let's do this. I really want us to be able to meet in person.
Me too. Oh, it's going to happen. I mean, I'm not in Toledo, Ohio often. But I do have family in Akron, Canton.
Oh, that's not far.
Is it not far? I'm so geographically challenged, okay? That's my husband. The reason I don't know, guys, is not because I'm a total moron, but my husband's from there.
Okay.
So we'll go back once a year.
Okay,
maybe we can meet up somewhere. Like, what's the place that's cool that's near there? I mean, Toledo's cool, I guess. What's that?
There's a lot of spots. Oh, Cleveland. Oh, yeah, hands down.
That's the place where they have concerts and like restaurants. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm so ignorant.
No,
I'm so ignorant.
You're right. You're 100% right.
Okay, well, maybe we'll do a Cleveland date.
That sounds good.
Or if you come out here to your, I want to call it Comic-Con, but your Crime-a-con. I'm probably saying it wrong. I'll come and I'll buy a ticket and I'll be in line to see you.
That would be great.
Meet for sure. Okay, I've subjected everyone to like 10 minutes longer, which is fine. Extra credit.
Yes, exactly. It was so good to talk to you today.
You too. Your place is gorgeous. You're gorgeous, and we will talk soon.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.
Bye.